Morning, Gaffer.
Morning, Ginger.
Hey, your number plate's fallen off.
It's not, you know, I've taken it off. I've had so many close calls in it lately, I've made it ex-directory. Morning, Bet.
Good morning, dear heart and gentle person.
Have you got any of that stuff you laughingly refer to as tea left?
I think there's another one in the pot.
Transfer it to a mug so that I can do likewise. Oh, come on, chop, 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 chop.
Somebody sounds a bit distraught this morning.
Yeah, well, I don't have all that much to be traught about. I sometimes think I'll be lucky to get out of this existence alive.
Something wrong?
Yeah. And now there's two. I think I've lost another battle in the Muffet Civil War.
Well, isn't it about time that you and your mother-in-law rested on your quarrels?
Very droll. You got a new writer? It's not me, you know, that keeps these arguments going. It's her. I'm too busy getting ready for the next one.
All right. What happened this time?
She found me back combing a dog's teeth with my boot.
You were kicking the poor thing.
I was fighting it off. They can get very vicious, these Yorkshire Terriers. Besides, it was a genuine mistake. I'd only done 2 dishes with it. Anyway, that's enough of my troubles. Let's go on to my other troubles.
Morning, Gaffer.
Harry, your timing is perfection.
Right, finished these cams. What's the next job?
Next job? You must be joking. Next job. We've got about as much work as a second trombone in a string quartet.
I don't see why we're so short of work. Gregory seemed to have enough.
We would have enough if we had to do every job twice because we got it wrong the first time. Look, just go and put those cams in my car. I'll deliver them by hand and hope to get something stuck in the back of it.
Are we really so short of work?
We've got nothing and not a lot of that. I think I'll ring old Stan at the council maintenance depot. He's usually good for a job or two in return for giving him this day his daily whitbread. Oh, Stan, you must have been standing by the phone. No, it's Fred Moffat. Yeah, I just thought I'd give you a ring. We haven't heard from you lately. What do you mean your work's going somewhere else? Where's it going? Where's it going? Come off it. It's about as private and confidential as a kilt in a wind tunnel. Just, where's it going? Councillor Gregory? What? Oh, yes, of course, I forgot. It's Councillor Joe Gregory now, isn't it? I've forgotten he joined the gang of 4 flushers. No, of course I understand. I can see which way the wind is blowing off the sewage farm. No, of course your hands are tied, so it won't be any good me buying you any more ale. You won't be able to hold a glass, will you? Thank you for nothing. I'll give him Councillor Joe Flaming Gregory.
Well, that's a bit thick.
A bit thick? It's disgraceful. I mean, that is what democracy is supposed to be about, isn't it? Everybody having an equal chance to get in any fiddles that are going. I'll tell you one thing, Joe Gregory's not going to get away with it.
What can you do?
As King Canute said, if you can't turn the tide, you ship the shingle. And you should know, Betty, as a member of the Liberal Love Thy Enemy and Everybody Else campaign, the council elections are due at any minute or so. Betty, I am going to stand as a Conservative candidate.
You?
The Lord helps them who helps themselves, and so shall I when I get elected.
Well, I am on the Liberal Selection Committee. Maybe if I screwed down the safety valve on my conscience really tight, I could put in a word for you.
Thanks, Betty, but your lot have got no chance. This ward is solid Conservative from the sewers up. Now, all I've got to do is think about the theme of my campaign. I think I shall just stress my integrity, honesty and personal charm. That should con the lot round here. They're a bit thick. Besides, with my connections, all I've got to do is walk into the Disraeli dugout to be welcomed with open arms. Hey, next time, don't stir it, shake it.
Ah, Colonel, there you are. Ready for the meeting? I say, there's a pretty rough-looking individual hanging about out there. Should I get the steward to chuck him out?
Later, maybe. You see, he's the only candidate we have. His name's Moffat. He runs a little tuppenny-halfpenny engineering firm.
Don't you mean minus tuppence halfpenny?
Oh, much more than that.
Oh, good Lord, we can't have a fellow like that. I'd sooner do the job myself.
I quite agree, Colonel. We hold his account at the bank, and quite frankly, the day he stopped believing in Santa Claus, he started to believe in bank managers.
We're all agreed, then. We give him the thumbs down.
Definitely.
One moment, Colonel. We do have to go through the motions, don't we? You see, his wife is Madam President of our ladies' section. It's not for nothing that she's known as the Jodrell Bank of the Coffee Club. You see, one whisper that we hadn't given her husband a fair hearing, and our membership cards could end up in the dustbin, still inside our pockets.
Point taken. We smooth talk him out of it, eh? Will you come in, Moffat? Now then, you know Williams from the local bank.
Oh, yes, Mr. Williams. Hope you remember to lock the safe. Wouldn't want anybody nicking my overdraft, you know.
And Councillor Gregory. He's in your line of business, I believe.
Oh, yes, Joseph and I are old friends. I taught him everything he still doesn't know.
Surprised. Surprised to find me on the committee, are you, Moffat?
No, not at all, really, Joe. As a matter of fact, you're one of the reasons I'm here myself.
So you would like to go on council, eh, Moffat? I think we should start with a few details. I believe your wife's a leading light in our association, what?
No, mainstay of your conservative fate. Mind you, she still can't make up her mind whether she's a Brigham-Bar or a white elephant.
Now, what about your business? How many employees do you have?
All depends when you count them. Seems to be a lot more about on payday.
Not exactly got to the top of the heap, have you, Moffat?
No, but then again, Joseph, I didn't bother all that much when I realised what it was a heap of.
Oh, by the way, did you fight for your country?
Yes, but I think I must have lost because somebody else has finished up with it.
You got a commission, of course.
No, just a flat 30 bob a week, same as everybody else.
I don't suppose you saw any real action.
You don't suppose wrong, Joseph. I fought all right in Normandy. Me and my mate Crusher McCann once fought a complete platoon of gendarmes single-handed for 3 days one night. Poor old Crusher finished up with a nasty wound in his bagpipes, I can tell you.
Did you say Crusher McCann?
Yeah, that's right, Colonel. Why? You know him?
Oh, no, of course not. It's just that it's rather an unusual name, that's all.
Yeah, well, Crusher McCann's a rather unusual chap.
Yes, well, perhaps we could get on. May we have your views? I mean, how do you view things politically in the country?
Well, it's a bit like Shakespeare said, isn't it? There's something rotten in the state of Denmark, especially the bit that includes England. I mean, let's face it, the moral fibre seems to have completely gone to the dogs. I mean, the only reason you can't go to the local library and buy a book on do-it-yourself burglary is probably because somebody's nicked it.
So you want more law enforcement?
That's a laugh. With the prison so overcrowded, you don't stand a chance of getting into Parkhurst unless your dad was an old lag and he put your name down. I'm sorry, but I blame you lot for all that, you know. That's the sort of thing you want to spend some time on instead of messing about me with VAT and tax.
I think we've heard enough, don't you?
Aye, more than enough.
If it had been left to me, he wouldn't have been here in the first place.
Well, I should like to thank you, Moffat, for letting us have your interesting views. I think we can always find something for a keen chap like you to do, posting pamphlets or something. We can't all be officers, can we? We've got to have troops as well, what?
What, you mean to say you're turning me down? I mean, apart from my connections, you do realise that I'm the best of one.
Actually, we do have another candidate. The Colonel here.
Oh, I see, it's one of those fiddles, is it? It's as bad as the Flaming Army.
That's quite uncalled for, Moffat. The Colonel has a fine war record.
So do I. Vera Lim singing We'll Meet Again.
Let's face it, Moffat. You've had that council work.
Oh, am I? Don't be too sure about that, Joseph. It doesn't matter what colour your ticket is, so long as it gets you on the gravy train. Cheers.
Well, that's it then, Brother Wagstaff. We don't seem to have a candidate. And if we drink much more, the barmen will outnumber us.
Surely somewhere there must be a dedicated fighter for the socialist cause.
Evening, brothers.
You mind, this is a private meeting.
Oh, of course I don't mind. Don't worry, Harry, it's my shout. Barman, 3 foaming tankards of your best proletarian pale ale in here. Now then, brothers, I understand you're looking for a candidate for the council.
But you? A bloated capitalist?
Past tense, me old duck. I used to be, Harry. But when I realised with all these government cuts that people had to cremate their loved ones with off-peak solar heating, I changed my mind. Hey, I said pale ale, you know. Not white as a sheet. You want to dangle a tea bag in this a bit longer. Well, pay the man, Harry. You don't want people to think I'm bribing you, do you?
I'll tell you something, that's all you're getting around here. We are not having you as a candidate, and that is final.
One moment, Brother Campbell. I would remind you that this is a democratic party, properly bought and paid for by the trade union movement. So we listen carefully to what this fascist hyena has to say before throwing him out on his basic principles.
Fascist hyena? What are you talking about? Oh, just as underprivileged as you lot, you know, when I were a lad. I mean, many's the time I couldn't go to school when it were raining because we couldn't afford feet for my legs.
Could you tell us exactly what you stand for and why you think you will attract the votes of the hardcore party activist?
What do you mean, that lot who go running around shouting down everybody who don't believe in the freedom of speech? They'd vote for a pregnant parrot or old house that talks a lot and claimed to be in Labour. But what if your candidate was a true blue whose litmus paper had been turned pink with the acid of discontent like me? I mean, I could soothe over parts that none of the others would be able to reach. You'd be able to mop up all the Tory wets and half of the drip dries and all.
You know, Brother Campbell, I think he has something.
Oh, it has. The smallest conscience in captivity.
Right, Brother Moffat, you're on. I'll guarantee you the union's backing as candidate. As soon as you sign membership forms. Well, you have to be a union member, brother, if you wish union sponsorship.
And as a loyal union member, you'll have to support union wage claims in full, or come out and strike with us against yourself.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
What is it?
Where do the Liberals hang out? I'm sorry, Vicar, I didn't realise you said alliance. I thought you said appliance. You see, it would have changed the connotation, wouldn't it?
Sorry I'm late, everybody. What on earth are you doing here?
I'm beginning to wonder myself.
Your employer, Mr. Moffat, Betty, wishes to be considered as a Liberal candidate. We're only a starter. Pull up a chair.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd rather leave it to you two. I have trouble keeping a straight face.
Yes, well, now then, where were we, Mr. Moffat? Oh, yes, we were discussing these big liberal ideas of yours. I take it you're in favour of unilateral disarmament?
Well, not really. I mean, a bit of a waste of time, isn't it? Let's face it, the only way you've got to survive in a nuclear war is to drop dead 2 weeks before it breaks out.
And I presume you're prepared to give to the third world?
I haven't really finished paying for the first one.
Don't you believe in casting your bread upon the waters?
Yes, but only if it gets you ready breadcrumb fish. So, Daisy?
That's hardly the attitude of a Christian and a liberal, Mr. Moffat.
Perhaps I should explain, Vicar, that Mr. Moffat has rather an unusual sense of humour.
Has he? I'm afraid I don't find him all that funny.
Snap, mate.
Perhaps Mr. Moffat would care to tell us something about industrial relations in his company.
Yes, they are excellent. My shop steward doesn't understand me, but I completely understand him, so I keep him nailed to the time clock.
Well, the Liberals do believe in co-ownership in industry, you know, in return for engendering a greater motivation on their part.
Oh, do they really? I see. Isn't that a little bit like me giving them half my beer money in return for half their hangovers?
What do you do to motivate your workforce, Moffat?
Pay them their flaming wages. You know you Liberals' trouble, don't you? You spend half your life with your feet firmly planted in midair. You're in a dream world, Alfie. One of these days you're all going to wake up and find out you've overslept.
Yes, well, don't know what my colleagues feel, but I don't personally think from your general attitude that you're the sort of candidate that this party would be interested in, Moffat.
May I say something?
If it's got something to do with this gentleman, Betty, I think not.
Yeah, all I wanted to say, Headmaster...
I've made my decision.
Oh, I see. It's headmaster, is it? I see. That explains a great deal.
You may want to ask exactly what you're implying, Moffat.
Yes, one may ask headmaster, because one is going to be told headmaster anyway.
Watch it, Fred.
Why should I? I'm not one of his flaming pupils, thank the Lord. No wonder the kids leave school knowing less than they did when they first started. Half the kids in this school, the only thing they can read is page 3 of the Sun. And most of them get that upside down. Go through life thinking knockers and kneecaps.
Well, thank you very much, Moffat. We'll let you know in due course.
You will not let me know. I will let you know now, headmaster. As far as I'm concerned, you can stick your Liberal Party right up your SDP. Good day.
Are you sure he's Liberal?
Well, he certainly drinks a lot.
It's obvious you've tapered it at the wrong end, haven't you?
Well, what shall I do?
You don't have to take chances. I'm not kidding. If you had 2 more, you'd have an IQ of 1. Oh, the Liberal lady of the lamp has decided to pay us a visit, has she? So which moron did they pick, after all?
They talked me into it.
Make a good dartboard for the lads.
Morning, Gaffer.
Don't tell me they talked you into being the Labour candidate. I feel like a spare light bulb at an orgy.
What's the difference? The Tories will walk it anyway.
The difference is that they preferred you two instead of the brilliance of me. It proves what I've always said about politicians. The skins are so tight when they open their mouths, their brains shrink.
Hey, Gaffer, well, why don't you start a party of your own?
Charlie, look, why don't you... You realise that now and again you come out with a good idea, don't you, Sunshine? Hey, yes! We'll grab the bull by the ear here and start our own party. Yeah, we'll call it the Campaign Against Rates and Taxes. We'll have the politicians quaking in their quangos.
We?
I never knew you spoke French.
Oh, yeah, well, you mean we go around kissing babies and that?
Exactly. Because out of the mouths of babes and sucklings cometh forth not only great wisdom, but votes. Mind you, it's what cometh forth out of the other end you have to watch out for.
A fat lot of use Charlie'll be. He's never had a political idea in his life.
Which, Harry, is what little prime ministers are made of.
Vote for your Conservative candidate. Vote for your Conservative
See your number, love, please. You got it. Thanks very much.
Gaffer, what are we collecting all these numbers for?
I haven't the slightest idea.
One lady gave me a telephone number.
One fellow told me the size of his hat.
Excuse me, would you, do you mind? Right, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention. As returning officer for this ward, I hereby declare the total of votes cast for each candidate to be as follows. Colonel Percival Upshot Green, Conservative, 952 votes. Harold Campbell, Labour, 610 votes. Elizabeth Tucker, Liberal, 426 votes. Frederick Moffat, Campaign Against Rates and Taxes, 1 vote. I therefore declare Colonel Upshot...
I'm awfully sorry, but I'm afraid I've got to ask for a recount.
Oh, Mr. Moffat, it can hardly matter. I mean, you've got...
I know exactly what you mean. As far as I'm concerned, it's the principle of the thing. As far as I know, categorically, 50% of my votes have gone astray.
Oh, very well. Then if your agent will come along with me over here, we'll try and get something sorted.
Well done, Colonel. No hard feelings, I hope?
Well, that's damn decent of you.
No, and I intend to say so when I make my speech later on after the declaration.
Thank you.
Of course, I shall be in a bit of a quandary, because I shan't know whether to call you Colonel or Corporal.
What's that?
I thought you looked a bit strange when the name Crusher McCann came up at my interview, so I gave him a ring.
Oh?
Yes, and he confirmed what I thought
That's
when I
right.
saw you. You were attached to us at Catterick, weren't you, Corporal? In the cookhouse, weren't you, Corporal? You were just playing green before you married Big Lil Upshot in the naffy, weren't you, Corporal? And you never went higher than a corporal, did you, Corporal? Is that Big Lil over there talking to those reporters, is it, Corporal?
If you will excuse me.
Anything, so long as you resign. Sorry you lost, Harry.
Yeah, I'll bet.
No, I mean it. Let's face it, if you'd have won, you couldn't have been shop steward anymore. And then it would have been a doddle, me dealing with Charlie about those redundancies.
What redundancies?
I hardly think this is the time and the place, do you?
Just you wait 1 minute. I'm going to talk to Brother Wagstaff about this. Hey, Wagstaff, come here!
Well, at least you've got nothing to worry about, Betty.
I'm beginning to wonder.
Right, Mr. Moffat, everything's been sorted out. Mr. Hutchkiss put a cross against every name except yours, so his paper is invalid.
You don't surprise me, so is he.
Right, now, ladies and gentlemen, I can declare that the Conservative candidate, Colonel Percival Upshot Green, is...
No, you can't. I withdraw from the contest.
You what?
Wasn't announced, so I'm out. Come along, Lillian.
Well, in that case, I declare that Harold Campbell, Labour...
Wait a minute! You're not getting rid of me as easily as that. I'm still a shop steward, and you will discuss these redundancies with me. I withdraw as well.
This is becoming a madhouse, this is. Now, who's next? Let's have a look here.
I withdraw as well. I didn't want to win it in the first place.
But that only leaves Frederick Moffat,
Don't you mean Councillor Moffat? Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of me...
Resents the time he spends on paperwork and VAT. Keeps the money that the taxman doesn't see.